Welcome back, America. Ted Cruz, we have the text that the administration gave up of the audio of what Joe Biden said when he was being interviewed. There is no investigation anymore. There is no conceivable element of executive privilege that's legitimate here. So basically, they're covering up a very flawed and defective candidate. Isn't that part of the problem? That is that we, the people, have every right to know who the hell this guy is, and we don't have to play along with this?
Well, yeah, the reason they're blocking it is obvious. It's politically embarrassing. And if you listen to the audio, the rational inference is the audio shows what the Department of Justice explicitly concluded, which is that Joe Biden is not competent to stand trial, that he can't remember what's going on, that he's feeble, that he's senile. And that audio, they don't want the American people to hear it. There's not a legal privilege that attaches to things that are politically embarrassing, but this is all politics. And sadly, with this administration, everything they do is all politics. You know, when you started your litany of lawless actions by this administration, you rightly started with the southern border. The southern border, we have never had a president do what Joe Biden is doing. I've joked, but it's not much of a joke, that Biden did something I thought was impossible. He made me miss Barack Obama. And listen, you and I both had lots of disagreements with Barack Obama, but when it came to immigration, Obama, by and large, followed the law. He deported millions of people. In fact, the left got mad at Obama, called him the deporter-in-chief. What Joe Biden is doing, no president in over 200 years has done, which is when someone is apprehended, he just lets them go. And the immigration laws say you must detain them, you must deport them. He doesn't care. He just flagrantly violates the law day in, day out. Why? Because of power and politics. He wants an invasion at our southern border because he sees 11 million illegal immigrants as future Democrat voters, and he wants power. And if people have to die, if children have to be brutalized, if women have to be sexually assaulted, if criminals have to kill Americans, if terrorists have to enter this country, all of that he's willing to do for power. It is a level of cynicism and lawlessness that has no precedent in American history.
But you know, Ted Cruz, we expect an Attorney General of the United States not to be a complete lapdog for the president. He's supposed to represent the people. Merrick Garland, who is less accessible typically than even Joe Biden, he gets up and he says, we follow the facts and the law and the way but they don't follow the facts and the law. This executive privilege claim, especially when they waived constantly executive privilege to dump all kinds, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of documents from the executive branch where there were conversations, where there were serious privilege issues, and dumped them into Congress because Biden and Garland wanted to get Trump and get this information at the January 6th committee to claim now that there's no legislative purpose. Of course there's a legislative purpose, and it's this. Our system is not set up for a president who has dementia, who's breaking the law, when his cabinet and when the vice president won't trigger the 25th Amendment, Congress can't trigger the 25th Amendment. When impeachment talks about high crimes, misdemeanors, and bribery, we don't have a system in place right now to address what's taking place right now, except the voters, except the people. And isn't that why they want to cover up the audio?
Of course it is. And Congress has a responsibility to engage in oversight. And Merrick Garland embodies arrogance and contempt and hubris. I actually think it's a very close call. Who is the most arrogant member of the cabinet? It's either Merrick Garland or Alejandro Mayorkas, and it's really, it is probably too close to call. But both of them, when in Congress and the Senate Judiciary Committee, when I'm questioning them, when others are questioning them, they react with utter contempt. I don't have to answer your questions. I don't know any answers to the American people. I'm going to defy the law, and I don't care what you have to say about it. Personally, I think Merrick Garland nurses a monumental grudge because he wasn't confirmed to the Supreme Court, and this vainglorious man believes he's entitled to be on the court, and so he is going to abuse and desecrate the Department of Justice and the Office of the Attorney General because he's trying to carry out his grudge because he's mad that he's not a Supreme Court justice. I am shocked that there's not even a tiny twinge of integrity that makes him say, no, I actually should follow the law if I'm at the U.S. Department of Justice, but there's not.
In the 30 seconds we have left, Senator, you're in a tough race, tough race. Tell us about that. very, very briefly.
The Democrats are flooding cash trying to beat me. Chuck Schumer has named me his #1 target in the country. Schumer and Soros are going to spend over $100 million trying to beat me. What is going to let me fight back is come to my website. It's tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. Come to tedcruz.org. Make a contribution. Just this week, my left-wing Democrat bought $500,000 of TV ads. I don't have the money to be on TV. The only way I can fight back is millions of patriots across the country coming to tedcruz.org and supporting us so I can keep fighting against these radical left-wing ideas, fighting to defend the Constitution, fighting to defend America.
God bless you for everything you do. I'd hate to wake up after the election and find out that you're no longer a senator come January. That would be a disaster. Ted Cruz, thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Thank you, Mark. God bless.